Golden State not invited to take part in the NBA restart. They are not among the cool kids. They played miserable basketball this season, and so they were not invited. Nevertheless, Draymond Green found himself not in the bubble, but talking about the bubble as he was in the NBA's crosshairs over the weekend. If you did not see this, maybe you're boycotting the NBA. Maybe you missed it or just didn't pay attention when it happened. So Draymond Green, the forward for the Golden State Warriors, was a guest analyst on TNT Inside the NBA over the weekend. And he had a lot of hot takes. But the one in particular that got people buzzing was about Devin Booker. And in fact, we have the audio tape here. Let's go to the audio tape. Here's Draymond Green on Inside the NBA over the weekend discussing the future endeavors of one Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns.
It's great to see Book playing well and Phoenix playing well, but get my man out of Phoenix. It's not good for him. It's not good for his career. Sorry, Chuck, but they got to get Book out of Phoenix. I need my man to go somewhere where he can play great basketball all the time and win because he's that type of player.
Are you tampering?
Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, Ernie, I got the answer, Ernie. That's a thumbs up to Ernie Johnson. That is a tamper situation. So the NBA was not happy with Draymond's hot take, and so the league fined Draymond Green $50,000 for tampering, which sounds like a lot of money. Of course, it's not. We'll tell you why it's not a lot coming up. The NBA said his remarks violated the league's anti-tampering rules, but let us discuss the question, and this comes up quite a bit with players like Devin Booker that are statistically dominant, but continually on teams that are lottery teams. Is Draymond Green correct? Does Devin Booker have to get out of a Suns uniform? Must he leave Phoenix to have a legitimate big-time career? I actually say no to that. I'm going to push back against Draymond Green. So I've got hollow, crowbar, and mosquito bite, and we will connect everything together. Now, first of all, if Devin Booker is God's gift to basketball, which some seem to think he is, he's hit some game-winning shots in his career, then I'm of the belief that Phoenix would not be in the current pickle that they are in with that losing mentality. And I have some family in the Valley of the Sun. Some of my relatives, my cousins and whatnot, were Suns season ticket holders for years, going back to the Madhouse on McDowell Street, and they were huge fans of the Phoenix Suns. And a few years back, they said, that's it. We're not going to buy the tickets anymore because they haven't been good. At that time, they hadn't been good in like 3 or 4 years. It's been about a decade now of ineptitude for the Phoenix Suns franchise. But this was a team that used to be one of the tops year after year. They weren't a consistent NBA champion, obviously, but they were a good team that occasionally would make the NBA Finals in the NBA. And now the franchise is off in the abyss. It's in Siberia, which is odd because they're in Phoenix, where it's as far away from Siberia as you could possibly get, but you get the point. And the thing also about a guy like Devin Booker, we have seen the truly great players who elevate the play of everyone around them and lead franchises out of the doldrums. Devin Booker is not that kind of player. He has not been that kind of player. He's an offensive dynamo, but he's not a winning NBA player. This is a guy that is all about the stats. He's great if you play fantasy basketball. There's so many hollow statistics next to the name Devin Booker, and we'll call a spade a spade. We believe in that on this show. It's not about wins and losses. In this case, it's about personal statistical domination. And that is what matters most. And in that regard, why would Devin Booker want to go to another team and sacrifice as many shots as he possibly wants? As long as he gets his 25, 26 points a game and gets around 20 field goal attempts a game in a 48-minute game where he's playing about 38 to 40 minutes, he's a happy camper, right? I've seen no evidence that Devin Booker is depressed because the Suns blow year after year. Now, the perfect example, all right, I'm going to give you, and I know it's an anecdotal example, but just bear with me. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine to 2017, a year the Astros cheated in baseball, but in basketball in 2017 at the Garden in Boston, the Suns were being taken apart systematically, surgically assaulted by the Boston Celtics. In fact, at halftime of that game, Boston was up by 23 points over Phoenix. However, that game is remembered as the Devin Booker 70 game. Devin Booker put up 70 points in that game. The game was over at halftime. You want to take a guess how many points Devin Booker scored in the second half in garbage time? How about 51? He ended up with 70, but he had 51 when the game was over. The Celtics defensively were like, let him score. We don't care, right? The game is in garbage time. We're winning by a comfortable margin. And then the Suns had this big celebration for Devin Booker after the game, the losing franchise that they are, celebrating the loss. And Booker was right in the middle of it because he had statistical domination. And that is what mattered most, right? Now, secondly, the mindset from the NBA, I'm going to go back to the whole Draymond Green and the tampering, and I've been fighting this fight for a long time, but the mindset of the NBA has been, as a league as a whole, take the path of least resistance. Find the easy way out, right? Find the easy way out. You get drafted by a dumpster fire team. If you're really good, you're going to be drafted by a crap team in the lottery. Check, right? So then you got to put 2 or 3 seasons in of losing basketball before you then take a crowbar, right? You take your crowbar and you attempt to force your way out. And you get together with a group of other young players and you form some kind of gentleman's agreement to play together and form a top team. Hard work is not appreciated. Now, there are some exceptions to that. Damian Lillard, although even Damian Lillard in Portland, who's got a forever contract with the Blazers, even he is having some problems there. He snapped over the weekend, jealous of Paul George being on a better team with the Clippers, and Damian Lillard got very upset about that. But the point is, at least Lillard's staying there, trying to make it work in Portland. But that is the exception, which does not make the rule, right? It's the exception does not make the rule. Hard work is looked down upon rather than make an undesirable location better and build it up, right? Build it up. You don't want to do that. No. You look for the shortcut to bypass any perceived hardship. Go sign with Clutch Sports and let LeBron James and his as the puppeteer and the people below him get you into utopia. Rinse, wash, and repeat. All right, final thought. So Adam Silver and the NBA as a whole don't care about tampering. They say they care about tampering. They don't. They let the Lakers get away with it for years with little slaps on the wrist. LeBron James does whatever he wants. And sure, the NBA, they have rules in place. But it's only for optics. And behind closed doors, they laugh at these punishments. The NBA has generally even said behind off the record to people, they've said, listen, that the whole tampering thing's good for business. It's good for business unless they look the other way. But these punishments are akin to a mosquito bite. Like Draymond Green has made $82 million up until this point. He's about to kick in a $99 million contract extension with Golden State. Good for him. He's made a lot of money. I'm sure he's losing a lot of sleep over this fine. He's made $18.5 million just this last season playing for the Warriors. So to rephrase this, Draymond Green is getting fined $50,000, which is 0.00.2% of his salary. It would be similar to someone making $50,000 a year getting a $100 ticket. It's the same percentage. Now, if you're making $50,000 a year and you get a $100 ticket, you're not happy about it, but it's not that big a deal. It's not going to break your back. It's just not. Now, Draymond also has been involved in tampering. Wasn't he one of the guys that helped recruit Kevin Durant to leave Oklahoma City and go play for the Golden State Warriors? So he's got a history of doing this kind of stuff. It would be magical. I have a dream. My dream is that Golden State says, you know what, this is a good idea. Draymond Green's right. Devin Booker should leave Phoenix. Why don't we trade Draymond Green straight up, mano a mano, to Phoenix for Devin Booker, and let's see what Draymond Green does to turn the Phoenix Suns around. Now, that would be great. I would love that.